What's up, guys? Let's get this review on the road. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back, guys, to the review. Sorry for the wait, no pun intended. I've been meaning to get back to you guys. I know it's been 3 weeks, but I got busy between getting this thing PPF'd, which took 10 hours. I'll be releasing a video on that later on. But let's get into it. This is the full review, 3 weeks in, 1,000 miles. Just hit that today on my way here. So let's get into it. Starting off this review video, I want to kind of take a step back and take you guys through the process of me deciding to pick this car and some of the older events that triggered me to get this car, and a little bit about my background. Not too much, because this page is mainly just for the car and to share with you guys the experience of owning this car and driving it. So fast forward, or rewinding back to 2018, you know, I had a C350 at 2013, which I had got at 16. This was a birthday present from my parents. Thank God for them. I mean, that's a blessing. I've always been grateful. But that was my first car. I had a 2013 C350. Had that for 7 years. Never would have imagined getting something like this, because that car I wanted to keep forever. But a series of events happened in 2019, September. My car got totaled on a little freak accident at a stop sign. So that's what kind of triggered me to now look for another car, because I didn't have a car at that time and I was just finishing up college. So with that, whenever I take that car, the C350, to the dealership to go get it serviced, I would always go to the show floor, because I didn't want to wait around while they were servicing my car, and I would always mess around with the new cars on the floor. And the sales guy would always come up to me and ask me, you know, if I wanted to buy a car. At that time, I wasn't in a position to buy a car, because I still had my C350 and I was a college student, so, you know, where would I have the money from? So fast forward to September 2019, my car got totaled, so I was like, well, dang, now I need a car. So I was looking, and I was looking at a bunch of cars, not just the C63S. I was looking at different models, because I was like, should I change it up? Should I stick with it? You know, I didn't know what I really wanted. So between 2019 and around 2020 January, so about 4 months, from September to January, you know, I was looking around, and I went back to the dealership because I was trying to get information from my dealership about maintenance and stuff to hand it over to the insurance company for their report. And the guy slipped out this discount, which was called the DE1 discount, and that kind of stuck in my head. He never said he would give it to me. It's technically a friends and family discount, so, you know, he never guaranteed that he would give it to me, but it stuck in my head. So 2020, we all know the pandemic hit around January, February, and at that time I had just graduated college, just secured a solid job. So I wasn't really sure if I should be dropping, you know, the amount of money on this car, because who knew what the financial situation of the world would be in. So I kind of waited, and during that time from January 2020 to April 2020, you know, I was doing my research on what cars I wanted, and the C63S just stuck out with me. With the price point and what I'm getting interior and exterior wise, I felt like it was the best decision to, you know, if I'm going to buy another car. So that's what stuck out with me, and again, the features and all that's offered in this car. And then also being the last V8 that Mercedes was putting in a C63 variant, you know, it was all the more special to just go for it. So, and it's always been a dream car of mine, but I was kind of trying to switch it up. But anyways, so in April, after hearing that they were going to finally can the engine of the V8 of the, you know, C63, I was like, all right, well, I got to pull the trigger. You know, I had already been at this job, you know, so I didn't have any issues. I didn't see I'd be in a position to where I financially couldn't afford it. So I pulled the trigger. I went to the dealership in April. They had let go of the guy who told me about the discount, so I was like, this might be an opportunity to finesse a deal. So I talked to a new sales guy, and I was telling him about this deal that this guy was going to give me, and he was like, okay, well, I don't know if we give discounts on an AMG. And, you know, I just played the devil's advocate, and I was like, well, if you guys can't give me this discount, then I'm going to go somewhere else and do business with another dealership. So surprisingly, that worked. So the guy came back. He originally came back with the full price, the sticker price, plus the taxes, fees, and all that good stuff, and the car was about 100 grand. He comes back with the discount, and it drops down to 85. So I was like, you got a deal. I put down my down payment, which I'll talk about later, and then I signed for the car and waited 9 months. So that's a little bit of the background story of that. And here we are today. We're about to get this review on the 2021 last C63S with the V8. So let's jump into it, guys. Let's start this review off with the exterior of the car. As you can see right off the bat, I went with the brilliant metallic blue. Reasons for this was because the only color options that they had was white, black, different shades of gray, and then the blue. And I was like, well, my last C350, which I'll put a picture up right here, was white, and I had it white on black. It was a little classy look, but with this, I wanted to go completely different. I was like, this is C63S, it needs to pop, it needs to stand out. And the blue was something I've never seen before. And crazy enough, I took a risk on the blue because I never saw it in person, except one time on the highway, briefly, when this car just flew by me. But until then, I never saw it in person. So until I went to go pick it up, what you guys saw in my delivery video, you know, I did not see the color until then. So it was shocking, and it was also pretty satisfying because up until that point, I wasn't sure if I'd even like the color. But the color is amazing, and it really makes the car complete, in my opinion. So starting off, the car comes with adaptive headlights. These move, you know, follow the road and all that stuff. And then it also has the sensors in here for the adaptive cruise control and assisted steering and all that stuff, which we'll get on the inside. I got the all black elements. I blacked out everything that I could. I don't like chrome. I hate chrome. It's not a cool color to me on any cars. Maybe a lowrider or something like that. That's how I went with that. Look at the engine here. This is the last V8 bi-turbo engine that will be put into a C63S. This is my engine crafter, Alexander Manti. I want a special shout out to him. This is the guy that made it possible. He's the one that put together this engine by himself, as the philosophy at Mercedes is one man, one engine. And yeah, this is a work of art. It's the last V8 bi-turbo, 500 horses that we'll see in this. I'm sure the new C63, or the whatever it's gonna be called, will definitely be faster because it'll have an electric motor. But for those car heads out there like me and the many of you guys watching, this is something that we all look forward to and want and enjoy in our cars. So this is it. This is the last of Dying Green. And again, it's just crazy how Mercedes is so well engineered in engine making, because I mean, this is just all compacted together. It's a really big engine, and you can see it's all perfectly fitted. For the specific C63S models that had a V8, they actually had to extend the front portion of this car. So if you look at a regular C-Class, you can see that the front portion is slightly smaller, and that's by this piece right here. In order to fit this big V8 engine, they had to add this part right here to then extend the length of the car to fit this engine. So that does it for the engine. We'll hop around the other side of the car and continue on with the exterior review. Over to the wheels. So part of the exterior, the package was these matte black multi-spoke wheels, which I really wanted. On my last C350, I was plastic dipping my wheels, and that was just a hassle in itself, and then I ended up buying rims. So with this one, I just wanted to have it all there so I didn't have to touch it, modify it. So got these black AMG 19-inch rims. And then also with the brakes, I went with the regular brakes. I didn't want to go with the ceramic brakes, but now I'm kind of wishing I kind of did because of the brake dust. But these are just your regular iron rotors with your regular brake pads, and the ceramics would have been an extra $5,000, and then if you wanted to replace them in the future, it would have been an extra $15,000. So kind of weighing out the options of picking up those or not buying those. I kind of think I would have bought them to avoid the brake dust and probably even last longer. But then if you're not tracking this car, which I'm not tracking this on a daily, I might track it in the future here and there, but it didn't feel like it was worth it at the time. But that's what we got with the wheels. All right, so moving back up to the mirrors, I went with carbon fiber exterior housings on this. Again, I wanted it to complete the look of the car. If I was gonna get this car, I wanted to have everything that you possibly could have. So I got the carbon fiber mirror packages. The thing where I felt like Mercedes went cheap on is on the older models, they had carbon fiber mirror caps, rear spoiler diffuser, and the spoiler wing as well. But they kind of cheaped out and they only gave you carbon fiber mirror caps and a carbon fiber rear spoiler, and that's really it. As you can see right here, the black night package trim continues around the door sills and windows, and then also down here as well. If you didn't get that, that would all be chrome, which again, I don't think chrome would have looked too good on this. Continuing on from the carbon fiber mirror caps, you get this carbon fiber rear spoiler, and that's it for the carbon fiber on the exterior of this car. Like I said, I feel like Mercedes went a little cheap on the older models. You could have got this rear diffuser carbon fibered as well, but this is now turned into the night package. So part of the night package, you get the front splitter to be blacked out, the trim around the doors, and then this is the other part that's blacked out as well. And that's really it for the back here. All right guys, so jumping onto the inside, we'll start off with the door. With the door, you can see all the multi-functions for the seats. I went with heated and ventilated seats because here in Georgia it gets pretty hot and I'd like to have that. So that was one of the features that they were kind of scaring me in the beginning of this process when I was building the car. They said that it wasn't going to have it and I couldn't find it in the build sheet, but it ended up having it. Moving in, I went with the yellow stitching, the contrast yellow stitching, and then the gray. It's called a Magma Gray leather package. And that's really it for the door panel. It's nothing too much crazy going on. It's simple. It's not too overwhelming as the interior is, but that's the door. One thing that I wish they would have done with the carbon fiber interior packages have this carbon fibered, but again, they kind of went a little cheap and kept it with the brushed aluminum, but it still looks pretty cool. All right guys, so we are inside the C63S. This part will go over the interior, the options that I picked for it, and some of the features. So right off the bat, you can see there's a carbon fiber overload in here. You got the whole middle console carbon fibered, which is again something that I wanted to kind of complete the look of the outside carbon fiber package. The steering wheel as well, it has carbon fiber at 12 and 6 o'clock. Then it has Dynamica on the sides. Let me go ahead and fix up the steering wheel for you guys. There you go. So part of the steering wheel is again carbon fiber on the top and bottom, and then you got Dynamica on the sides, which is something that I really liked and really wanted. Kind of going into the newer models that are coming out with the new steering wheel, it looked a little weird to me, and I wasn't really looking forward to what the new kind of infotainment system and all that looks like. So also on the steering wheel, you can probably notice these digital buttons. This is the AMG drive unit. This comes standard in the S model, and this is just another way to configure your car. You have a bunch of dials, switches, and gauges that are digitally made, and you can switch between the different functionalities and select them as you wish. You can also do that down here through the multimedia package right here. This is the multimedia package that has this touch mouse pad thing, which you can control the main area right there. And then jumping over to the driver instrument cluster, this was one of the most coolest features that I liked from this model. The digital instrument cluster, not like the old traditional tachometer and all that, and the multi-functionality that this can have. You can have 3 different displays, which I thought was very cool, and I still like how it still looks like a traditional instrument cluster, not just a flat screen like an iPad that they're doing on all the new ones. It's just not sitting right with me just yet. This in the beginning was a little weird to me, but they've kind of cleaned it up since the older W205 models. Now it looks a little bit more elongated and more like a screen and not just a little square slapped onto the dash. Coming back over here, you can probably already see the ambient lighting, the 64 different colors. That was another thing that when I was looking at different cars, you know, what they had offered. And I mean, Mercedes just has the best interior, as you can see. I mean, BMW, no offense to them, I love BMWs, but their interior is just not updated. It's still pretty old. They don't have many different looks from older models, and it never sets itself apart from whatever else is out there. So again, with me dropping the money on this, I was like, if I'm gonna drop the money on it, I want the interior to look, you know, futuristic and look worth the amount of money that the car is worth. So again, Mercedes knocked it out the ballpark with this one. Moving back over to the instrument cluster here, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different options here and configurations. Going back to one of the reasons why I like this specific one is because you can change the look of the dashboard here. This is like the super sport mode, and then this is the sport, and then this is your classic. So you have whatever mood you're in, you can switch it to, and it's just one of those extra goodies that make you feel, you know, exquisite or whatever you want to say in the car, or, you know, while you're driving. It just makes you feel that much more exclusive. And then jumping back over to here, this also serves as its own functionality. You got all the different features: system, vehicle, connect, phone, media, navigation. Navigation screen on this is pretty nice. I mean, this, I have not seen anything previously as nice as this. I mean, you get a pretty good view, and it's colored, and it's almost like Google Maps. You do have Apple CarPlay in here. I haven't tried it yet because I haven't even used a cord in here. I've just been using the wireless charger down here, which is an option that I wanted to get in here. I was a little skeptical about that because I wasn't sure if it would actually charge, but it actually does a very good job of charging. My mom's Hyundai, you know, you'll drive it for 30 minutes and it won't even charge. So, but this one, Mercedes did a pretty good job on, and it charges the phone pretty well. Moving up here, you can see a classic IWC watch. I think this is a nice little touch for premium, for adding premium, you know, package to this car. Just gives it a nice look to have a watch there. Some of them, they don't even have the watches on the older models, which I realized. Moving back to the steering wheel, so to control the media infotainment center here, you'd use this touch pad right here, and it's all touch sensitive. On the newer ones, this is all completely touch, so that was another reason why I didn't really look forward to getting that one, because I still like having the tactile feel of buttons, and you get a lot more responsiveness. This, even though this is just one little thing, it's still a little weird to use at times because it is touch sensitive, and like when I'm driving, I'm like, is it moving, is it not? So that's that. Another weird thing that I wasn't used to on my C350, I had a gear right here, gear shifter right here, and now it's all digital. This is something that I'm still trying to get used to. It's a little weird that you just push up and down to drive, and then you push the button in to park. So, but it is a lot more functionally ergonomic, and I feel like it's a nice thing to do if you're trying to avoid all the clutter here. And plus, with this being here, you wouldn't really be able to do that. Moving to the top here, you can see I have the moonroof. This was actually standard on this one, so when I was ordering the 2020, it was an added feature, and then on the 2021 they had just made it standard, which was cool. And also the instrument cluster was standard as well, and a couple other things. You got your storage right here, your basic storage. It's nice, pretty deep. You can have 2 USB ports right here, an SD card, and you got a little nook right here to store stuff. So moving on, I want to show you guys this quick cool feature that I just found out. I know this isn't the new MBX unit, but it still is pretty comprehensive, and I didn't know this, but this is pretty cool. So, turn on front passenger seat heater.
Front passenger seat heating on.
So yeah, I found that out. I had accidentally hit this button, and I was like trying to get the seat heater on, and I set it, and I didn't say it in that way, but it turned it on. I was like, holy, So yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know what else I could do. I'm sure I could probably do a lot of other things, but I'd still have to play around with it. And I'll show you guys in another video, hopefully, with more in-depth stuff on that. Another thing that I want to talk to you guys about is actually the sound system. That's a really big thing about cars. This one has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. It's not 3D one, but this is still a pretty good one. It comes standard in the car, and I'll play a little clip for you guys here to kind of get a taste of it. And also what I realized is the car is very well sound insulated. It's not very loud. You can't really hear too much on the outside. And when you're inside, you know, it's just mute. Like you get a nice, you can hear the person next to you. And it sounds like you have headphones on and you're just jamming in your own little capsule. So yeah. Kind of giving you guys an overview of the instrument cluster here. I mean, there's so many different functionalities. You can have so many different types of information displayed on here. This is the super sport view right here, so we can kind of just fiddle around with some of this stuff. So you have complete configuration. On this one, you can have, you know, you can see your mileage and how much you've gone so far in the first tank since you reset it. You got your range, consumption, you got some eco display, you got just your general stuff about your eco-ness on the road. Over here it gets a little bit more detailed into, you can put the date and the day, and then you can have your telemetry right here. When you're, you know, cutting corners, you can see what the G-force is looking like. This is your boost gauge. This car has 2 turbos, so this will show you what the turbos are running at and when they're about to kick in, which is some good information if you're, you know, tracking the car. You have some fuel information here, your range. This is your tire gauge. Obviously when the car is on, it'll turn on. And then this is a navigation, which you can also display on the instrument cluster and while you have it on your main display here, which is pretty cool. Showing you guys the other display here. So this is the Super Sport. This is going into now the Sport, which is again a little bit more classier. You can switch it to the navigation. Only the middle and the right side change depending on what you click here. So going back to, you got your display, you can click here, we'll just say trip, and so again that will display all your trip modes, your speed, your mileage, consumption. Then over here again you can switch it, you can show your revs, you can show your revs and the G-forces, the boost, and then this is your track pace command. The car does have track pace, which is a software that has the different race maps around the world. You can time yourself on it, which is also pretty cool. That was a free add-on, so I was like, why not get it? And again, you can have your display on that. And then moving to the regular display when you're just chilling, cruising, you got that as well. And then moving back to that, again, you got your normal displays, and over here you can adjust this to whatever you want it. So different moods, whatever mood you're in, you can set it to however you want it, and I think that's really cool. Something that not a lot of cars offer is the choice to have, you know, different displays, which is cool. Alright, so moving back over to the infotainment center here, I want to show you guys the crazy colors that are present in this car. Let me turn off this light real quick. Come down here to light settings, and you got your ambient light settings, which is, as you can see, the doors, the footwells, both on the inside, front and back, and then the rear passenger seats. So yeah, you got 64 different colors. Whatever your liking is. Again, this is one feature that I just completely fell in love with the car. We'll go all the way to white, so that's just your white ambient lighting. It's not too crazy, you can't really see it too much until you get to some of these other colors, but you got red. Red is something that stands out. Blue stands out for sure. You can see blue a lot easier. Green, my favorite color. You know, I'll be rocking this on occasion, and then you go to yellow, so really the only colors that really stand out is the blue, the red, and the green. The rest of them are kind of too light to be visible, even at night. And I mean, right now we're in the daytime, but so yeah, that's part of the cool features of this car, that it has that. Alright guys, so now we're going to get into the pricing of this car. I know this is a big topic and a lot of people are wondering. So again, to kind of go back, so I ordered this car in April. I got the deal of a DE1 discount, which took off 12.25% off the MSRP. And with that being said, the build out of the car was at $90,445. If you subtract, which I'll put all this stuff right here so you guys can kind of see. If you take away 12%, that drops it down to about $79,000. The MSRP on the base car is $76,000. So after the discount, it dropped it down to $79,000, and then after taxes and fees, it added it back up to $85,000. And then obviously I had to get a loan for this car. With the loan, a $65,000 loan for 60 months at 2.26% APR, brought that back up to $89,000. So in essence, I paid for this car under MSRP with all taxes and fees included, which is kind of shocking because, you know, a lot of people don't think you can get discounts on these cars, and it's possible. And part of this channel is to help motivate you guys and show you guys that this is possible. It is achievable. You can get it if you work hard for it and you do what you got to do and you keep dreaming for it. You can get it done. I mean, I'm 24 years old. It's pretty young for me to have a car like this, but like I said, if you're motivated and you do what you got to do, you can get this car, and it's a reality. So going back to the pricing, so when I went to go place the order for this car in April, I had originally ordered for a 2020 because the thought of it was that the 2021s were going to be the 4-cylinder 4-pot engines, and I didn't want that, so I quickly tried to get an order in for the 2020. July comes, they call me back and say that the order got kicked back and I had to reorder for a 2021. And at that time, there was no information, there was no spec book. You couldn't build the car online, so I didn't really know what I was getting into. All I did was go back to the dealership, reconfigure the car. There weren't any options besides like your basic color and a little stuff like that. So I really didn't know what I was getting into at that point. At that time, again, with the pandemic and all that stuff kind of in full swing, I didn't want to put down a lot of money, so I only put down $1,000 at that time, and then that was my deposit until I picked up the car. I put down $21,000 of my own money, and then I did buy a maintenance package, which was $2,690. So in essence, the entire car costed me $91,000, which again is below MSRP, because in essence, when you buy a car, you usually pay the MSRP, then the taxes, fees, and then the loan fee if you get a loan. So I feel like it's a steal. I basically got a good deal, and for this being a C63S and getting it under MSRP, I think that's a win. A lot of people are gonna be like, oh my God, you blew $90,000 in a car. Well, I'm a car person. I love cars. I work to enjoy life and, you know, eat good and enjoy life. So this is one of my enjoyments in life. This is something that I work for. This is something I'm okay with spending the money on. And again, if that's someone like you, then you guys will agree with me. If you're not, then it's a bad purchase in your mind, and that's okay. We're all entitled to our own choices. So as you can see, I've given you guys a breakdown of the cost of the car, and then kind of rewinding back. So again, after the discount, I was able to get it for $79,000, which is only $3,000 more than the base price of just a regular C63, no added features or anything, no customization. So I basically got a fully loaded 2021 C63S for below MSRP. Again, you might not be able to get the same deal if you're looking to get one, although right now I know that if you are trying to get one, you have to find one on the lot. They've completely stopped production, which is pretty sad. So just know that there is a chance you can always get a discount. Never pay MSRP on these cars. In my opinion, they're not worth it. And you're always going to be able to get a discount. Never let the dealership play you. You are the one with the money. You're the one with the decision. It is in your hands, and they are the ones that are always going to be wanting to make the deal. So you have the power in your hand. That is it for this video. We'll have more stuff coming here soon. It's a little cold in Georgia, so I don't get a chance to do too much right now with the crappy weather, but we will catch you guys in the next video. The next video I'll have clips from my PPF install. You probably can't see her right now, but the whole front end right now is PPF'd, and I'll show you guys in the next video. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.